Hi, today we're going to talk about disabilities on the autism spectrum disorder. And because most of the time our students that are on diploma track are Asperger's, that's one of the main categories we're going to talk about today. However, just as a brief overview, I'm going to talk about the 5 categories that come under the autism spectrum disorder. The first one would be autism, which is a pervasive developmental disability. The second one is pervasive developmental disability not otherwise specified. The third one is Asperger's. The fourth one is Rett syndrome. And the fifth one is childhood disintegrative disorder. General information about the autism spectrum disorder. 1 out of 88 children are diagnosed with autism. Boys are primarily identified as having autism as opposed to the girls 4 out of 5 times. Fastest growing serious disability, developmental disability. Each individual with autism is unique, and I'll go more into that later on for the reasons why. The cause, up until recently, has not been, was not identified. In the past 5 years or so, they've identified a mutant gene with also environmental factors that cause autism. There is no medical detection and there is no cure. Factors influence the brain development before and during birth. Diagnosis is based on qualitative impairments in communication, social skills, and a range of interests and activities exist with mild to severe delays. The first category that I told you we were going to speak about is autism. And this term is used to describe a group of complex disorders of brain development. The impacts that autism has on someone causes difficulties in intellectual disability, motor coordination, attention, health issues, and they excel in visual skills, music, art, or math. Individuals with autism may exhibit unusual responses to people.
Look at this. How can you find this funny? That's not funny at all.
Or attachments to objects.
Can you put your water bottles away? You're distracting me. How are they even bothering you? Just leave them alone.
Resistance to change.
Julie, can you move up to the front so you can see better? No. Why do I need to change where I'm sitting?
Repetitive body movements. Hypersensitivity relative to touch, smell, taste, sight, and hearing. Sometimes students who we would never guess might have layers and layers of clothes on because of the sensitivity to outside stimuli.
Julie, are you okay?
And as I'll talk about later on, there's a range of severity from mild, but there's an array of ranges. The next category I'm going to be speaking about is the pervasive developmental disorder, not otherwise specified, and that's a category between autism and Asperger's. This is considered a mild form of autism. Individuals with PDD-NOS may seem unemotional or unable to speak, have difficulty making and keeping eye contact, have problems transitioning, or be oversensitive to their surroundings. Now, as an example, I had a student who was failing a math class, and I went in during his 10th grade year to find out what the problem was. And when I noticed that the teacher would change subjects or activities or tasks, the student just sat there until he was prompted to go to the next task. It's not that he wasn't paying attention, his mind, the processing involved with transitioning is very difficult for children with PDD, NOS, or Asperger's. Next is our Asperger syndrome, and that's what our primary focus is because that's what we usually see in our classrooms. These students have average to high intelligence. They have a severe and sustained impairment in social interactions. They're restricted, they have restrictive and repetitive patterns of behavior, interest in activities. We call it a passion when they have like an obsession with something or some idea, and that becomes their passion. That's a more positive connotation. The criteria includes the age of onset, normal cognitive ability, normal early language development. Unlike autism and PDD-NOS, their communication skills, their verbal communication skills are very adequate. IQs, as I said, are normal to high. Asperger's is considered to be a mild to moderate disability. And it can go undiagnosed until a person is way into their adulthood.